How's everyone doing? Did I go live? I think so. I'm Chris. Today I just got news that I'm entered into a show to display a big piece. I totally forgot about the big piece. Anyway, so I was thinking today we'd draw some nature-loving robots. This is something I like to draw a lot. So, can you guys see the drawing? I'm gonna adjust my, what's it called? Adjust my light. So I usually make these robots, I want them to look futuristic, but I also want everything on them to be like, I want you to kind of know what everything is. Like, I don't want to draw cameras that don't look like cameras that we would have, because, like, I want people to know that they're cameras. Stuff like that. But I'm not saying I don't want future stuff. I think future stuff is important. But that's the balance I'm trying to strike when I draw these future robots. So I also like to have them be like super nature. I wish you guys could see the later sketch. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit more if that would help. All right. Hi, Goblin. Hi, Elstefan. All right. This is... wait, I zoomed out? How's that? Okay, that's pretty good. So I was thinking about having this guy have... So there'll be like flowers down here or something. This is a very basic one that I used to draw, similar to this. Where like... there's flowers. And the robot is trying to get the flowers. And I think maybe the robots are controlled by tardigrades now. This is just something I was thinking about as the stream was starting. Like, what if these robots are controlled by tardigrades? With their cute 8 arms. And their creepy mouths. Hello, Oddfud. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I was thinking I'm going to fill a pretty large piece. And I was going to draw the tardigrades with balloons just kind of flying up all over the place. But then I remembered I used to do these robots that like really loved nature, and it would be fun to do like a big scene of them. I did them when I was first learning to illustrate, and I thought they were really good. They were one of the things I really liked doing. Oh, hey, Fabs. But I didn't have a lot of ideas on how to do them. I was like running short on ideas. And I'm a different person now. I have better ideas, more ideas, certainly different ideas. So I thought I could try again and see what comes out. Do a brainstorm where I sketch some little robots and see if there's enough, if I have enough energy robots. Ooh, yeah, my favorite animal. This is a good question. Goblin asks my favorite animal. Gosh, so for forever, as a kid especially, it would have been cats. Like, just domesticated house cat. I really like a good house cat. I think they're sweet, intelligent, they like you. Dogs are fine too. No. There we go. But no disrespect to dogs. But I don't know if that's true now. Haven't really thought about it. I like I like birds a lot now, and I didn't really as a kid. I'm wondering if my favorite animal now might be ravens. I think it might be ravens. What's everyone else's favorite animal? So I think we'll have some wires and some contraption sort of coming out of the belly here. Maybe it can hook up to like other robots, and maybe like some of its sensors and stuff will be down there. Ooh, peacock. Yeah, crows are really great. Otter is really great. I drew an otter a couple days ago. I don't know what Euromastix is. Is it a type of cow, a type of bull, a type of oxen, something like that? No. So right now I'm doing just some like rough outlines of what is going to be a bundle of wires and plugs and stuff, or maybe even some like, we'll have like a camera coming out, maybe some more like grippers. Yeah, maybe these grippers actually also come out from this belly hole. Ooh, a lizard. I'm gonna write that one down. And I brought a computer today so that I could look at like reference photos to draw like animals after if we get tired of doing robots. Okay. Oh, oh wow. I don't think animals ever got into the halls at school where I am. I'm trying to think. Like maybe we had a bird in school once or twice. I think like yeah, I don't think so. We had a lot of ooh yeah, the alligator. I was trying to think of like a TV one. I was pretty sure there was a good one. I bet you I was thinking of that. So I'm just choosing one of the lines that I drew up here and kind of following it down. And then almost randomly choosing what is going to be on the end of it. And so like this one has a little, how close are you guys? I think you could see. No, no Florida me New York. I'm going to put out a get to know about me short in a couple of days. Well, I haven't edited it yet, so who knows when I'm going to put it out. I want to scan it in and give it a little color. I think that would be fun. Ooh. For some reason, little snake, I'm like, aw. And little lizard. I mean, I think little lizards are cute too. But for some reason, I'm like, little snake needs protection. Oh, thank you, some guy. I'm doing a, I'm trying to see if I can do enough robots collecting little bits of nature that I can do a full, like, a 60 by I don't know, a large art piece, because I was just invited to do a show, and I didn't realize that they also, I could put in a piece, like an actual large piece. So I hadn't been preparing anything. And then this came to mind because I used to do these like little robots collecting uh, pieces of nature, and I thought, oh, this would be a fun. I was gonna do just tardigrades flying away, like tardigrades and balloons being like lifted up, and then I thought it would be more fun to like have the tardigrades be flying these little machines or robots, or acting in concord with the robots, and having them all get pulled away. Aki. Oh, an Aki monitor. That's also a lizard. That one I know. Monitors are lizards. Oh, thank you, some guy. Yeah, I used to do. So I just started illustrating about 6 years ago, and I started, and this was one of the first things that I just like naturally gravitated towards. And then I've just really found my voice. I know that might be something like weird to say, but I used to illustrate in a different style, and this was what came naturally to me, and I like didn't do it in order to try to like, I don't know, be more commercial in some way. Sorry, my pencil ran out of lead, so I'm filling it back up. I don't know why I'm doing it off camera. I can do it here. So I put a whole bunch of lead in. Yeah, and then about a year ago, I did an animal and hat, and actually this show that's coming up, they asked if I wanted to sell my prints. I gave them a whole bunch of prints, and they sold really well. And he was like, "Oh my God, you're invited next year for real, not just like accidentally," because it was sort of accidental that I got put into the show. And oh man, I'm really happy, and now I want to do a full piece for that show. And so I figured, what better way than to go back to my roots and do a piece that I would have done when I was just starting out, but now with all my experience and practice. Yeah, I actually do that, Fabs. Salt, and I do like a really, really salty uh, gargle, and then I do a spoonful of honey. So I'm gonna give this a little bit more like background and just sort of a hint, because this is not going to be the final piece. I just want to kind of see what it would look like. It's sort of like storyboarding. It's literally just a sketch. I'm just sketching out what I think. Okay, and then if we put like some trees or something back there, then it'll look really far away. And then you have this guy. So I'm trying to figure out also how to make him look like he's flying. I was thinking about just doing a couple of like bursts of flame. But I think I might just make him floating there, and maybe doing something around the ground that hopefully makes it look like things are blowing away when he's close to the ground. Oh, you know what? Instead of doing a tree too, I could do like a old farm windmill in the background. Can you guys see this? Yeah. So they used to put these old farm windmills like way back, way, way back. And you'd buy the kit, and this is when farms didn't have electricity, when most farms in the country didn't have even, or most houses didn't have electricity, and most places didn't have phones. At least most farms didn't have phones, because it was really, really hard to wire the phone out. And this is in the United States. Um, to wire the phone out to the farmsteads because they were in the middle of nowhere. But one thing you could do is you could order these windmills from like a catalog. I don't think it was the Sears catalog. I think it was a different catalog. And then this windmill would generate just enough electricity to run like one motor, and that would pump up, that would run your well, and it would pump the water out from the ground and into the cistern that you could then use to water your fields or drink from. And so some of the first electricity in the United States was used from these windmills, and it was just used to water fields and get well water instead of having to hand pump it. It wasn't until after World War II that the majority of households in the United States had electricity, and that's the 1950s, or it's the 1940s when it happens. But like that's why the 1950s had this big explosion of raspberry cinnamon buns are really good. Like you had like all this crazy automated futurism from the 1950s. That's partly because all of a sudden the majority of households had electricity. And so people are using like blenders for the first time and electric mixers for the first time. And it felt very much like the future. They didn't even have, in most homes, electric light until the 50s. And now, you know, yeah, I think this is interesting here because I kind of put this hole in the belly in two stages, and then I had it like kind of take over this also to have this arm coming out of it. It's like a little lopsided, like it's not a circle. And I'm gonna like lean into that and put some sort of like device here to make it like why it wasn't a circle. I don't know what this device is going to do, but let's just sketch something in there. Yeah, it's like coming off the side. Oh man, I don't know what this is, but I like it. Let's give it like little fingers. I have a tiny eraser. Alright. So I also want to make these robots a little bit in disrepair. Not because they're in a bad shape necessarily, but because they're old and whoever maintains them would really, really likes to not. It's really, really expensive in the future to build these robots, right? Or in whatever society they're in, to build these robots. So it's almost always better to repair them, even if the repair like looks weird or dumb, than it is to like replace a part. So I was thinking they could be a little like beat up, a little bit rusty. Not, yeah, like just in need of a little maintenance. Alright, I think this one's good. I will draw this. I'm going to look up this, and I'm going to see if my computer is charged enough to look up. Yeah, definitely more sustainable. Yeah, like I think if you have robots out in the in the world, collecting nature. Like that's something that you and your society has invested into, and it's like it's collecting it in a respectful, quiet way, or investigating, studying it, then hopefully, oh crud. Okay, I gotta try to log in. I'm a hacker meme. Password remembering meme. Yeah, I got it. I got it. All right, so I'm gonna look up this Euramax sticks, and maybe we'll get him in here, and then I'm gonna keep drawing just some more detail on these guys. I think I'm letting things I kind of imagine and envision guide what I draw and what I make this guy. It's definitely a exercise in like creativity and just sort of like, I forget what it's called, like when you see faces or you see things that aren't there. So I'm like doing that to myself by being sort of rough and ready with some of these sketches and creating these shapes and stuff that uh, I don't know what they are, where they're going. It allows me to like imagine and see things. So like I don't know why there's a loop here, but I like it. And let's do something like hanging off the back of this. Yeah, the heat exchanger. Because this robot gets really hot apparently. Alright, I'm liking it. Okay, Euromastics. Euromastics. Hey, some guy. Welcome. I'm about to draw an animal. Oh, tentacle things. Yeah, let's do a little... Let's figure out which one of these are really up front and give them some nice thick lines. And then give all the other ones a little... Not all of them. And then give some of the other ones some shadow. And just kind of separate these out so it's not all just like one big... Right now it's kind of just a clump of gray. And that's been good for what we've been doing, but now let's bring it back. This one is giving me trouble. There's like something under the page, I think. That's fine. The crunchy fabric? Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, we can give this robot arm a little bit of definition. Just give it a nice thick outline. And that should bring it pretty far forward. We can even give it like a shadow from our point of view, which wouldn't be realistic in the universe, but like helps trick our brain into thinking it's more in front of all the other things. Oh, this can be like a light. I like that. Yeah, like some sort of mobile or... Yes, yes, that is so great, yeah. Like, he was meant to be out in the field doing like soil research or something. And now he's like, whoa, wait a second. Did you see this friggin' flower? Yeah, so inside this ship, I've drawn a tardigrade. I don't necessarily know if that's... I was just doing that because I was going to draw tardigrades for this art piece I'm working on. And then when I decided to do robots, I thought it would be funny to stick a tardigrade inside the robot. But now I'm like kind of liking it and I might keep it. So yeah, this is a tardigrade. They're very, very tiny microscopic um, animals. They're probably one of the smallest things you can call an animal. And they have 8 legs. We'll give them some controls to work. Okay. It says it's also called the spiny-tailed lizard. I've seen these things before. They kind of look turtley. Yeah, we'll draw one of those in a minute. Let's kind of just finish out a little bit here, and then we'll draw that animal, and then we can draw another robot after. And it's good to go back and forth. And if anyone has any other suggestions, that'd be great. Always can use animal suggestions, human prop suggestions. I like doing these like gripper things that aren't very rigid. It's like because it's a future technology, so it doesn't look like a gripper from that we would use. I've definitely seen papers about like really flexible robot hands and stuff and how they're trying to make those. I think the biggest thing is it's useful for gripping soft things and fragile things. But then also you can like squeeze it in places usually that you wouldn't be able to reach otherwise. Okay. So like as a trick to make it look more detailed than it is, I'm gonna throw some like thick black lines in between some of these back ones, and that will be like, oh, I just can't see back there, but if I could, there'd be all sorts of cool stuff. Oh yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Oh yeah, I'll do a butterfly. That sounds great. It's a great suggestion. So I have another drawing of robots where the butterflies are in the um, pilot section. I don't have it here, but I'll probably draw one after we do the animal because I was thinking about that a lot. Yeah, why don't we have the butterfly? I just was at a craft fair over the weekend and they had a little garden that had butterfly bushes and there was like 6 to 10 butterflies flying around on the first day. It was really cool. I want to make this one sort of like in mid-flight, but I also want you to see that it's a butterfly. I think that's about right. Yeah, it's I don't know its real name. It has flowers that are like this, And then it's all little tiny flowers at the end. And they're kind of shaped like a cat's tail. And they're usually purple, but I think I've seen them other colors. Is that on camera? Yeah. I think I've seen them other colors. It's little tiny groups of flowers. And then the butterflies eat them. Oh, okay. I think that's... I'm trying to make it so the butterfly definitely looks like it's flying. I think I did not do a great job, but I do like the butterfly. You can do another one, smaller, and so it's further away. And then you can't see both of its wings. Yeah, I like that. We'll go in, give them a little pattern. The most common butterfly by me are these tiny white ones. I don't know if they're really moths. They're just like these tiny white, very simple butterflies. And then monarch butterflies. I know we sometimes have blue-tailed swallow butterfly. I can't remember what they're called. But that's pretty rare. And then for moths, the coolest moth that I've seen is the giant lunar moth. Those things are neat. Okay. Yeah, let's try this spiny-tailed. I think this is pretty good. I wouldn't hate it. I could probably add detail forever, so I should stop. But we'll do let me add some leaves to these flowers. We'll come back. We'll do some more robot in a moment, and let us do this animal, this spiny-tailed lizard. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but we'll give it a shot. I'm trying to think of a pose where we could see its spiny tail and also its head. I'll do it on the next page. Okay, it sits in all sorts of positions. I feel like lizards I'm the worst at. Of all the things I draw, I struggle a lot with lizards. Okay, we'll have some real tall mountains, but just over in this direction. Okay, I'm going to turn the page. Let's work on this lizard. Blank slate. Makes you feel good. How do I... Oh, okay. Alright. There's a lot of lizard that are called these spiny-tailed. So I'm just going to do... This is the head. It has like a thing for its eye. sort of see the other one. Well, no, let's look at it from below. We don't want to be looking at it from above. I am. Oh, have its nose is like kind of stout. There we go. It's like nose. It kind of looks. I can't tell what its mouth looks like, but a lot of lizards' mouths kind of look like that. That's its back eye. This is its front eye ridge. Alright. Not bad so far, even if I do say so myself. Now its neck. Kind of like... So I draw a lot of mammals, and that makes it relatively easy to see if I'm messing up a mammal. Because I can sort of just like, I know what mammals look like, you know? So this is where its head is going to connect to the rest of its body. So it looks like I'm going to have to move this paper over. Have a sip of seltzer while I'm at it. Where's the head now? Perfect, perfect. Okay. So what's interesting about the body is it's kind of like wide and flat, which makes it hard for me to do my normal. Let's have him sort of turned. So he's moving a little bit. The body is like pushing off a little bit into the distance backwards. Yeah. Oh, hi Riley. Thanks for coming by. I can do him back. I can do him with a hat. Sounds. That's my forte. So if he's pushing backwards a little bit, still mainly. It's hard to describe. That'll be his one arm. His other arm will be over here. It's hidden where we can't see it coming out. Well, we'll see it, but the socket where his shoulder is hidden. So then their arms, they go backwards first. Oh, like an iguana, I used to take care of an iguana. I cannot remember his name, but if you told me it was anything but Iggy, I'd be surprised. Okay. And then that'll be his feet when I get around to doing the feet detail. And then the other arm, oh, it goes backwards. It goes backwards. And backward. Okay, and that'll also be the feet. We'll figure that out when it comes to it. Okay, so it looks like their back is pretty much smooth. It looks like they're interesting is like around here they have a ridge. That's why I was thinking it kind of looked like a turtle, because it sort of looks like their legs come out of their, like with the shadow it can kind of look like that. And then they have a little difference between back and belly, which a lot of lizards have, like the soft underbelly of a lizard. I think that's where that, well no, mammals also have a soft underbelly. Alright, so we're getting there. Their eyes, I think, are just evil black dots. Aw, he's looking at you. Alright, and we'll do the back legs now. So we have him pretty far away. Well, this is the back. He's pushing sort of away and back and to the left. So he has the top ridge on that leg. Happy early Labor Day. Awesome. Take care, Riley. Thanks for stopping in. Okay. And he just like looks like, you know when like kids are trying to crawl and they don't know they're trying to crawl yet, and so they're just like pushing themselves on their belly? That's what this guy reminds me of. His back foot is like really stuck under there. It's barely coming out at all. And then I think we don't even see his other back foot because his belly blocks it. from what I see, that's sort of how they operate. Okay, throw a little bit more detail here. What kind of, now we have to start thinking, like, what kind of hat would this fellow wear? Like, I was thinking maybe like, so there's something drawn here just by accident when I first started. That could be something. So I was thinking like one of those, like McDonald's or like fake um, fast food restaurants. They have those like almost paper little hats. But I don't know, I don't know. And now his tail is going to come out and then come like twist around and come to a rest sort of facing us. This is the ground we're working with. This is going to be the horizon up here, but this is where he's going to be sort of standing. Oh, hey, Nasir. So I think his back leg might be bad and we have to redraw it, but it might just look confusing because of all the sketch lines. So let's come in and just kind of get rid of some of these sketch lines and figure all that out real quick. We got a pretty decent outline of what we want to do. Hi Nasir. All right. So I think that is pretty good. I think his head kind of is bigger than it looks. I mean, it's pretty wide, so we need to make sure that like comes across as it goes into the body. I was gonna say the belly. So maybe we'll have that line a little bit more pronounced. That's helpful. Okay, and then I was looking at it, and it looks like they actually come a little bit more like forward where the legs are concerned, the front legs. So I'll do that, give it more of a forward push, do the same on the other side, which we can't really see. Okay, I think that's better. So lizards are probably my worst animal that I draw. I'm the worst at drawing lizards of anything. Birds are really hard too, but I do okay with birds. So this is the spiny tail part. How much is that is on? Okay, knocked an eraser over. And its tip is just some more spiny tail. So the spiny part, there's a little spine on the top, but it also has these like circle ridges around its whole tail. So this is one, usually when I'm drawing an animal, even if I don't know it, I often know a piece of trivia about the animal. I don't think I know any trivia about the spiny-tailed lizard or the Oromastics. What is Oro? Doesn't Oro mean bear? Anyway, so we'll get the spininess going. Okay, so we might have to either build up the back a little bit more or shave down the side right here because he looks a little fat-tailed, and their tails get pretty thin at the end. So let's Oh, thanks, Elstefan. We're going back to robots soon. I hope you feel better. Alright. Now we'll put a hat. Yeah, I think taking that down a little definitely worked. And we can push this up a bit. There we go. I think that's very spiny-tailed. We have to do the toes, but we'll just go like crazy toe, crazy toe, crazy toe. Can't really see, can't really see. And then we'll draw lines connecting. And sort of, yeah. That's what lizards' feet look like. This is a real life accurate. And we'll do the same here. You can't really see the back toes, that's fine. The same here, do a crazy toe. They're, it's just like really long, really creepy little toes. Scaly little toes. Okay. Like that. This has the ridge that we've erased. We'll put that back in. See, the head gets bigger. We'll do a little shading here, a little shading here. Oh, I gotta make sure this is back. And for the hat. I'm trying to think, like, what does this little hat here look like? I want this to be the hat. To have it sort of stay behind his eyes, come between them, so it's not too intrusive on his form. Oh, you know what? Let's give him like a high-speed helmet. Like a guy from 1940 trying to break the land speed record. Like a test pilot's helmet. Look him down, like cover his ear. And there'll be like a strap. We'll give it a little bit more padding. All right. I think this works because it also kind of looks like those old football helmets. And I could see this guy like lining up to play some American football. Or do like Daredevil stuff. He's gonna jump 7 buses and a tank of sharks. Alright, let's do another robot. I like this. This came out better and better. The back is like scaly. The belly's belly. Shady. Alright. Not bad for a lizard. Alright, let's not look at that other robot, even though I'm really tempted to. And go for another one. Let's do... I have a soda can. Let's do it soda canny. Alright. It's also going to be collecting nature, but we want it to be doing it in a different way. Let's have it be in the sky, in the clouds. So its nature is going to be probably birds. Okay, so we'll have it be like a weather balloon type, but we want it to be able to have autonomy. So first things first, let's give it a pilot. It'll be another tardigrade, but this time it'll be underneath. It'll be hanging down here. So the tardigrade, this will be further away, so this tardigrade will be a little smaller. And we can do more detail on that in a little bit. That's not the cool or important part at the moment. and this is all glass so it can see what's going on. And let's connect that with something a little bit more robust than just glass right up against whatever the rest of the robot is made out of. Alright, so now we want this robot to have some control of where it's going. I say we put like a fan on it along like a track in the middle. I think that would be like a propeller along a track. We can have it be like sticking out like this. And then we'll draw a little propeller. I forget how propellers are supposed to be twisted, so we'll just sort of do it however, sort of make it look right. Alright, so we have the robot. We'll give it like a weather balloon, which is just like this big connected with like a net. Let's connect it just with like sort of industrial straps. Like straps and buckles. It's like a buckle, that's how it's attached. And you can't see that one's behind, you can only just barely see, but you can see this part. And this part, which is like the other end of the strap, and it's the same, you can sort of see a piece of the strap hanging off down here. Alright, I'm liking this so far. I think it's definitely different from the last robot we just drew. And it's still like finding a way to interact and with nature. So I think it's interesting that this is like half robot and half there's a tardigrade here. So let's get some cameras. I think the way this robot would work is it would have a whole bank of cameras all the way around this section. And it would be like, we'll shorten up that propeller a little bit, but it would be inside the range of the propeller. So then we'll get that. Yeah, so I guess this one would be a circle, and then they kind of get thinner as you go out if we want to make it look like for shortening, which we definitely do. Okay, and then instead of going crazy and trying to like make sure every little part goes in the right direction with perspective, which can get a little, it's not like hard exactly, but it can be a little precise and fidgety. So instead, sometimes what I like to do is just like add more of whatever, add more cameras. So we can add some like medium-sized cameras, we'll give this like a little reflection. And then I was saying before that you can just sort of fake detail by making stuff that catches the eye look detailed, and then stuff that like your eye naturally glosses over less detailed. And so I'm going to try to do that here, where like I think if you were seeing just this, you would want to see where all the cameras like went to. But once you start adding these little cameras and these like medium-sized cameras and stuff, that becomes what your eye is focused on. You're like, oh, look at all that detail. And then you don't necessarily pay attention to like where these cameras go, especially if we get like one or two that do go in, and then like the person's brain will sort of do the rest of the work, or that's the hope. I guess I don't know how the reflection, like that specular reflection, if it would change. depending on what side it was on. Probably. Okay. And then we can just kind of add some thicker outlines. And that'll also help, because then it'll look like shadow. And this is a little bit further out from the actual, you can see that. And we'll get a little ones going off to the back. Maybe one sticks out a little bit more over here. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good. Maybe there's like some control system that helps, helps control the computer. It's basically the computer for the cameras. There probably would be a few of them, but this could be like the outside part of the computer for the cameras. Let's make this a little textured. This is a buckle, or like a attachment point, so we'll nail that down. That doesn't need texture. And we'll just have this go up to like a ring at the top. Make it a little bit, we can have it be 2, even. Now I don't know if we should have something inside of this balloon. Like, is there a way to make this balloon clear and have there be like clouds inside of it? I don't know. I think that would be cool, but I don't know if we can make it really work. Well, I'll keep thinking about it. Let's make it clear first. That'll be the first step. And then if we did that, I think we would have to sort of like have it connected. So we can do that. That'll be fun. We'll do we'll do a pipe that like comes out and goes up and connects to the balloon. It bends in and has like a valve or something it connects to. It's a little bit detailed, fuzzy. That stinks, but I like it. Oh, hey Aubrey. Yeah, it has been a little bit, maybe a week or so. Welcome, welcome. I wasn't streaming as much this past week because we had the craft fair and stuff. And we're moving, so I won't be streaming as much in the coming weeks either, but I'm glad you stopped in and said hi. I mean, I'm glad you're here. So, yeah, I think that's right. Maybe there is a fourth one. I think that's true. I was hoping that I had gotten it to be thirds, but I don't think I did. So we'll just have one be there. Can't really see it. Okay, so we have a pipe. We want something. We have these cameras. I think that's really good. I want something more. Well, we need some nature. So let's throw a cloud in here. Oh, thank you so much, Aubrey. Yeah, I'll try to schedule them more in advance. Yeah, I'll try to schedule them more in advance. Okay. So, like, I don't really want to do birds, but I think that's probably the best bet. And then, like, should it be like, ooh, what if it's geese? What if it's just geese and they're They're just flying home. This is what geese look like. I don't know why. And their wings. You can't see their feet at all. They just tuck them right up underneath. You can see them if you're underneath them. They fly over where we live a lot. Yeah, so maybe there's like a flock of geese here. Ooh, flock of geese is a good geese. So you know how there's like a collective noun for all sorts of stuff, right? Like if there's a bunch of crows, it's called a murder. If there's a bunch of owls, it's a parliament. If there's a bunch of, I don't know, all sorts of stuff, right? So if there's a bunch of geese, it's a flock. But then if they land on the water, it has a different word. And it's all sorts of, there's so many different words for geese, for flocks of geese. And you find this, there's really detailed words for a lot of these animals if they used to be hunted. So, like, we say a buck, and we just mean any male deer, usually. But there used to be a ton of different words for male deer, and it was dependent on how old they were. So, like, a 5-year-old male deer would be a buck, but a 4-year-old male deer, that would be a hart. And what's it male deer, that would be something else. And we sort of like just don't do that as much anymore. I have not watched K-pop Demon Hunter movie. It is on my list. I don't have Netflix right now, but next time I get Netflix, I definitely want to watch that. I've seen it. I've seen it. It's very popular, and I love cartoons, so I should really watch it. And I don't mind K-pop. I don't like. I'm not a huge fan, but I am a fan. Okay. So we'll do a couple more geese. I don't have to draw them all right now. So you get the idea. And then that's what it's checking out. Hmm. I was trying to do it. That's fine. Yeah, I like this. I like this one a lot. What else would it have? Just some just some gadgets. Let's just put like a wind monitor, which is usually like a turbine, and it checks how fast it spins in order to gauge how fast the wind is going. We'll put one of those on. You can have it stick out a little bit. Do you know one of the songs, my favorite? I do not know. I might know if I hear it, but I doubt it. I've probably only listened to like a couple hours of K-pop at all. And I definitely, unfortunately, don't know any of the names of any of the songs. Hi, Fabs. Fabs is our welcome committee. Okay, I'm gonna make some of these lenses dark. I think that'll be nice. We'll get some more detail around the edges of the lenses. Maybe we'll even make some of it like have the, I forget what they're called. It's like when you have a camera lens and then it's not all the way open. So you have like this, and then there's this part. The shield or the, it might be the shutter even. And then like that's, I don't know. I like this one. I think this one came out okay so far. We can do a little tardigrade. Uh, Detail. I think that came out pretty good. Even just that little bit. I think it looks much more like a tardigrade now. Oh yeah, we definitely need like the part where it plugs into everything. So we'll do that. We'll just have, all of them will have like this like weird chunk that just sort of hangs off the bottom. And that'll be their interface, their physical interface. So they can exchange information more quickly when they're not, instead of doing it over the air. I want this one will have like a big cable that wraps around the outside of it, like kind of spirals around and holds it all together. And it'll plug in, it'll turn into like a ring at the bottom. I don't know why, but I like this. And then that's where all the little ones will come out of. And they can even come out the sides or whatever. Alright, I like that. We'll have to erase some of that in between stuff. Oh, it's not actually that much. Okay. We'll erase this bottom at the ring too. I did like school. Oh, thank you so much, Aubrey. I did like school. I liked school a lot. I had a really, really hard time uh, keeping up with my work at home, but I liked doing schoolwork. I was in AP classes a lot of the time. Um, I'm like, I love writing a good essay and I tested very well. So it was easy to like it. I love learning. Okay, I think that's looking good. I love studying, I love reading, so it made it easy to like. Oh yeah, that's the strap. That's the strap up there. So we could just sort of shade this and call this a day and have this sort of top part be some sort of, like, I said sort of 100 times in the last 30 seconds. That's crazy. It must be a new world record. I'm wondering what to do with this top pot looking part, and if we should, it has like some pipes and stuff coming out of it. Should we keep with the pipes and sort of have it be an unknown pipe situation? I think that's what I'm doing, although it's not looking as good as I thought it would. I don't think I'm live tomorrow, but I'm trying to be live the next day. Yeah, no, I'm gonna commit. I'm not live tomorrow. Unfortunately. Okay, I'm starting to like this again. Good night, Aubrey. Yeah, I'm probably getting off relatively soon, probably in about 15 minutes. Thank you so much. Thanks for stopping in. It's always a pleasure. I think this is pretty good. I think I would be happy with this. I haven't even done any real cleanup. I wasn't sure about the nature, but I think having it be birds worked out really well. Particularly geese. Narwhaldo. My imaginary, my stuffed, not imaginary, he's real. My stuffed narwhal who can fly. You know how it is. Uh, he sometimes brings home geese because he's flying around out there as a magical narwhal. And the geese don't know, they just see someone who's flying. And they're tired, and sometimes they're a little lost. And so they'll just follow him home. And they're supposed to be going south for the winter. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if we're gonna have it be clear, we have to draw the back of the circle. Like these circle parts on the top. Alright, I think this is good. We could try another one. I think that might be useful. Yeah, this is like a pipe that goes into the balloon from the and fills it up. Sometimes the ends of these pipes have like a sort of valve, but it's not a valve. It's a one-way valve, but it's just you have like the pipe, the end of the pipe, and then at the end of that you have this piece of rubber that just fits over this, and then it becomes flat. Uh, so sort of like that, and that's all flat. And so it's a tube, right? You'd be able to see through it, except it's so long and it's so uh, unstretched or whatever that it just sits flat. And then if you blast gas through it, you put up enough pressure from here, then that tube starts, you have the same tube, same piece, and it starts like kind of flying around to release the gas, and it turns into sort of like a fire hose, right? The fire hose lies flat, and then you blast water through it, and all the water comes out. Well, that's the same that's happening here. You blast gas through it, and all the gas comes out. And so you can look and see, like, oh, there's no gas going in, or like, oh, there's a ton of gas going in. And that's good because most gas is invisible. And if you didn't have this little rubber bit on the end of your pipe, you wouldn't be able to tell if you were actually filling the balloon with gas or not. And that's why there's this like fat tube on the end of the pipe, is because it's secretly releasing gas. Or not secretly, that's the whole point. It's visibly releasing gas. Okay, yeah, what I'm going to do to sort of make it really look like that's in the balloon is I'm going to make a hard line here and have it be darker outside of the balloon and lighter inside the balloon. So just kind of like erase everything a little bit and then color it in just a little lighter than it would normally be. And I hope a little like scratch like that or something. I think that makes it look like this pipe is on the outside and that is it going into the balloon. Sometimes I do like this and sort of, but there's no reflection there. So I think that's as good as that gets. All right, let me close this. I think, let me look over our robots and see how we feel. So we have this guy, very good. And we have this guy, very good. Much smaller, I'd say. This probably is only about this big next to, for scale. Yeah, because that's a butterfly and that's a goose. So you'd have this one in the back, like far in the background. And then this one could be like right up front, in front of you. And like that one is like all the way back here. Soda can looking. Soda can looking guy. Oh, that's actually, I like that a lot. Alright. So now's the question, are we gonna do another one? Or are we gonna just go to bed? What do you guys think? Any suggestions for a robot? I'm gonna put like a silo back here. Maybe a little farm barn. It's like a regular barn, but it's on a farm. You know, unlike all the other barns. The silo's short. Let me get a little bit bigger. We'll do like a tree break, property break. I lived in farm country where it's like just miles and miles and miles of not big farms, small, like not like the Midwest where it's miles and miles and miles of these big, like huge, farms that are these big companies. That these were family owned farms, and there was like hundreds of them. So they could be big, but most of them were smaller. And it's really interesting. You'd have these like land breaks where it would just be like a couple of fence posts, a little bit of fence, and then like some trees. I don't know if they were wind breaks or what they were for. Some trees and some bushes. And sometimes that's all you could see, those, and then there'd be like these silos and the grain silos. And every once in a while by a road there'd be a barn. Alright, I think I'm creatively bankrupt. I think I'm done for the day. Can't think of anything. I've been posting on Instagram, CMonsterYK, if you love Instagram. Uh, that's the main thing. I won't be live tomorrow, but hopefully I'll finish my short that I've been working on, and that'll come out tomorrow. That's my goal for the night after this. I'm gonna go eat some cake. We don't have cake, but I'll figure something out. Yeah, astronaut chicken. I had one. It's not here, obviously. But I had one where I drew. I'm going to do a quick sketch and then I'm going to get gone. Uh, we have the astronaut helmet. And then, like, this is the, whatever, the first part of the spacesuit. And that comes down, you have, like, I don't know, speaker or whatever. And then you have the shoulders, and they're really big, and like big shoulder patty. The chest, I love astronaut spacesuit chest because like you see that and you're like, whoa, that's heavy. Like whatever they're doing, they're carrying around a big heavy chunk of stuff. It's got like drawers on it and spots for everything that get hung up on. It's got like a camera and some gauges that they can't even see. Then there's like buttons and switches that they can't see. They just have to know where those are and what they do. And sometimes they have like a speaker on there. This is the drawer, I don't know. So you can put things in and out of outer space, I guess. I mean, it's not like an airlock. You're not getting that inside the suit. You still have to wait until you get into your ship to get it out, but it's like you can bring it into your ship and you don't have to carry it around. It's just a pocket. I just realized it's just a pocket. Like extremely complicated pocket because you're in a spacesuit. Who made the spacesuit? I think it was Playtex was part of the that made the first spacesuit, and they like didn't tell anybody because they were like, no, people think people think we're too feminine if they know a famous materials company made a spacesuit for us because they're most famous for knowing now for making bras. And the Soviet Union will make fun of us. I'm I'm joking, but that's genuinely true. It might not have been Playtex. It might have been another company, but I think it was Playtex, and the rest of the story is true. Not just the Soviet Union. They also thought, uh, like, the men in the United States who were overly concerned with that would make fun of them. And you needed the vote to get, um, to get into space, to keep getting the funding. astronaut chick. What is it like, the sky's not falling? I am. Wait. Something like that. You thought the sky was falling? I fell into the sky. I don't, it's, it's a work in progress. Alright. We'll do, like, we can do something with the arms. I don't know. This little guy's got little controls. You can make little levers and buttons. There's like a whole control panel, but we can't see it because it's obviously it's angled towards the pilot. This little guy, not towards us. So we can't see it, but it's there. It would be funny if the astronaut didn't have like a hand on the end of it. It was like a wing. Or like I don't know, what a little paw, little claw, foot, I guess we would call it. Yeah, so Playtex, that's true. It was some bra company. Also, the first gas masks were inspired by bra. All right. Um, uh, oh yeah, it's. I think it's Houston. Can confirm. In the sky is not falling. Oh, it's like. All right. Good night, everybody. Say good night, Chico. Oh, actually, this is a female chick. Bye.